So tokenization on the XRP ledger has been absolutely on fire this year, right? We're seeing massive announcements and incredible developments that are basically positioning the XRP ledger as this super important player in the entire on-chain economy. Let me break down some numbers for you real quick. Right now, on the XRP ledger, we're looking at over $364 million in tokenized value. That's actually up around 13% just in the past month, and stablecoin value, that's jumped a whopping 38% to roughly $277.5 million. Now listen, I've been tracking these numbers like crazy, and here's why this matters so much. When we talk about tokenization, we're literally still at the very beginning stages here, and this whole thing is projected to explode into the trillions upon trillions of dollars range. And the main thing I really need you guys to grasp is that networks like the XRP ledger, they're going to become absolutely critical infrastructure pieces. And yes, they're also going to hit trillion-dollar valuations themselves. Now, before you think I'm just hyping things up, no, this isn't some sales pitch. This isn't me throwing out some crazy clickbait title just to get views. I'm telling you straight up, the XRP ledger will absolutely 100% reach trillion-dollar status. How do we know this? Well, just look at the sheer amount of capital flowing into tokenization, plus all the major names that are jumping on board with either the XRP ledger directly or XRP itself through various Ripple initiatives. Okay, so let me pull up what's been going down these last 30 days. You got to see these numbers I'm looking at right now. The biggest movers and shakers, oh man, let me tell you, economy's been doing its thing with about $30 million. Circles skyrocketed roughly 36%. That's just their stablecoin play with USDC absolutely killing it. Then Ondo comes in hot. We're talking nearly 33, maybe even pushing 34% gains here. That's sitting pretty at 40.4 million bucks. And oh, don't sleep on Open Eden either. They're up approximately 9.5%, hovering around $84 million. The absolute rock stars over these past 30 days, well, you've got things like the T-bill offerings coming through Open Eden, or hey, perfect example, look at Vert. Vert's been going absolutely bananas with growth these last couple weeks too. I'm genuinely pumped seeing this kind of movement, you know. Here's the big picture though. Everything we're watching on the XRP ledger is genuinely gaining major traction right now. When you scan through the asset classes and check out all these different issuers, it's literally all right here on the screen for you to see. But what I'm really hyped to focus on with you today, like it's got to be the asset classes, all right? All right, so look, we've already got all the heavy hitters, right? US treasuries, stable coins, private credit, stocks, real estate, the whole lineup. But here's where it gets exciting. We're about to see a massive wave of new stuff getting tied into this ecosystem, especially once the tokenization space really starts heating up and building out. And naturally, yeah, regulations are tagging along for the ride too. Here's what's cool though. The SEC and CFTC are actually putting in work on this right now. And that's basically gonna open the floodgates for way more value to start flowing into these public networks. And listen to this. The public network space for XRP is currently valued at around $18.14 billion. We're hanging out at about number 10 on the rankings. We're probably gonna shoot up that leaderboard pretty darn soon, especially with all this fresh value that's gonna start flooding the XRP ledger. So like, yeah, XRP is in a really strong position right now, no doubt. Now let me hit you with some fresh developments. Whale Insider just dropped an update recently. This goes back to September 22nd, and the XRP ledger roadmap is bringing some serious heat with multi-purpose tokens for native asset support, lending protocols built in, and zero knowledge privacy tech. Okay, guys, so the first thing we need to talk about, and this is huge, is the multi-purpose token. Now, you might be asking, why are you so hyped about this? Well, let me tell you, this thing literally just got activated. I'm not kidding. We're seeing announcements from VET_X0 about how these new token-centered multi-purpose tokens just went live on the XRP ledger. This is tokenization entering its next evolution. Like, this is big. So look, I know some of you might be sitting there going, okay, but what even are MPT? What's this multi-purpose token standard you keep talking about? Great question. Basically, it's this brand new standard that's been designed to give institutional players absolutely everything they could possibly need to make tokenization work at massive scale. And the fact that the XRP ledger now has this capability, I mean, come on, total game changer, right? Now check this out. Ripple XDev just dropped the multi-purpose token white paper. It's live right now. You can download the white paper here. Yeah, I've got it pulled up on my screen too. I haven't downloaded the full thing yet, but they're giving us some really solid breakdown information about MPTS. Plus, I've got tons of other details to share with you anyway. So basically, MPTS are this innovative new token-centered solution on XRP Ledger that's specifically built to address the real-world practical needs of both developers and institutions. So MPTS literally have metadata and compliance features embedded right into the standard from day one. And for issuers, that's absolutely massive. You're getting this incredibly streamlined way to create and manage your assets. No complicated custom contracts to wrestle with, no spinning your wheels. This is genuinely the future of asset tokenization unfolding right before our eyes. A revolutionary new token standard purpose-built for institutional grade finance on the XRP ledger. Now, let's talk about what this means if you're running a business. But picture this, I say all the faster time to market, way less operating risk, and seamless integration with whatever systems you've already got running. I mean, that's a win-win-win situation. And from the XRP ledger's perspective, we're seeing more real-world assets getting locked onto a blockchain that's fundamentally designed for reliability, lightning-fast speed, and settlement you can actually predict. Those three things together, absolutely game-changing. Oh, and definitely check out the white paper if you haven't already. Seriously, give it a read, because it breaks down exactly how MPTS arrive with compliance controls already integrated from the ground up. We're looking at essentials like KYC and AML requirements here, everyone. Issuers get the authority to actually enforce these standards. Need to freeze assets or claw them back under certain circumstances? They can do that. Want to attach metadata, maybe bond terms or reserve attestations, things like that? Done. Like secure distribution management through multi-sig and escrow capabilities, absolutely available. And here's the thing. When you step back and look at the bigger picture here, you know what becomes super obvious? All those huge use cases we've been targeting, those gigantic asset classes we want to capture, every single one of these features is absolutely essential to making that happen. So listen, they didn't just wake up one day and create this standard out of thin air. Nope. They actually sat down, did the homework, and built this thing around genuine business needs that institutions are actually facing. We're talking deep research into what makes tokenization not just work, but work at a scale that actually matters. And you know what, like if we're serious about connecting global liquidity on chains, and I mean really serious, these are the non-negotiable tools we absolutely have to have. This is literally the master playbook for handling digital assets with incredible speed, bulletproof security, and that's precisely why MPT is positioned to become the standard everyone turns to for financial operations on the XRP ledger. But wait, there's more. We've got this incredibly detailed breakdown sitting right here. There's this whole segment explaining why financial developers are flocking to the XRP ledger for RWA tokenization. Yep, already touched on that one. And if you keep scrolling down here, bam, we've got this comprehensive MPT breakdown laid out perfectly. Okay, here's what I'm really passionate about with MPTS. This technology is literally going to revolutionize everything around tokenization on the XRP ledger. all those huge use cases we've been dreaming about and discussing for I don't know, 3 years, maybe just 2-ish, whatever the timeline, we've been circling this conversation forever now. And while these technical features might not get everyday people super pumped up, when you're talking about issuers and major institutional players who want to tokenize, this is mission critical stuff. Oh, and speaking of that topic, there is this fantastic post that crossed my feed recently from a Ripple engineer. Okay, so we're talking about Kenny Z. Lay here, fingers crossed. I'm nailing that pronunciation. The multi-purpose token standard just dropped on the XRP ledger mainnet. And look, this is actually a big deal. Think of it as a shiny new native token standard that's basically designed to make launching real-world assets on-chain ridiculously simpler, significantly safer, and way more compatible with how financial institutions actually like to do business. Like, here's the twist though, MPT doesn't mess around with custom smart contracts like everyone else. It's literally woven right into the protocol DNA. Which means every token you create on the XRP ledger gets these powerful built-in features for compliance, control, metadata, all that good stuff, without stacking up layers of complicated code or opening yourself up to unnecessary risk. But why does any of this actually matter? Here's the thing. Most institutions testing the tokenization waters these days, they keep running into identical roadblocks, never-ending security audits, complicated bespoke contract structures, total regulatory fog. MPT basically cuts through most of that mess by managing the essential requirements natively right at the ledger foundation. So what kind of capabilities do issuers actually get straight out of the box? We're talking KYC and AML authorization with allow lists baked in, issuer-controlled transfer rules and restrictions you can customize, freeze, and clawback functions when you need them, on-chain metadata for transparent reporting and disclosure requirements, and of course, multi-signature and delegated key management functionality. So here's what's really cool about these built-in controls. You can now represent actual financial instruments in the blockchain way more accurately. I'm talking bonds with real coupon schedules, share classes that know who can invest, even stablecoins with their own recovery systems built right in. This opens up massive opportunities for everything from fractionalized real-world assets to tokenized money market funds, closed-loop loyalty programs, and institutional DeFi collateral. Getting these launched and integrated, yeah, it just got a whole lot easier. Now, MPTs are basically the foundation blocks for institutional DeFi, right? They're what power vault share issuance and lending protocols. They make secondary market trading incredibly smooth through the MPT-DEX, and they'll eventually support confidential MPTs for privacy-first transfers. What I love about MPT is that it's genuinely a protocol level upgrade, making the XRP ledger far more powerful for finance, but it doesn't compromise the core principles that made it special in the first place. Clean, smooth, and totally purpose-driven. Now, here's what I really need you guys to lock in on all of this. It's literally setting up the XRP ledger for institutional DeFi. Remember, Ripple's been hyping this up forever now, like easily over a year, maybe closer to a year and a half at this point. They keep hammering home this whole institutional DeFi vision on the XRP ledger. That's because it's the next big wave coming. Now, something really cool we caught wind of was directly from David Schwartz himself. So Ripple's CTO just dropped some serious knowledge on tokenization's role in this whole on-chain economy thing. We're talking MPTS, the full roadmap to institutional DeFi, everything. It's all part of this killer on-chain economy series they're running. I've actually got the video pulled up right here for you. Fair warning, it runs a little long, about 1 minute and 30 seconds, but seriously, just watch it. Trust me on this one, you're going to want to hear what he says. It's worth every second. Listen to this.
Tech is coming for finance with or without blockchain. That was going to happen. New corporates, companies like Amazon and Uber need more financial services than the current system is able to provide them. And the blockchain technologies are in the right place at the right time.
So this is literally what's going down right now. We're getting these networks ready for what comes next, and that's institutional DeFi operating at a massive scale. All those use cases we're constantly talking about every single day. Think about derivatives actually moving on-chain, or like tokenizing stocks plus all of these funds, bonds, treasuries, you name it. I'm telling you, all of this is heading straight on-chain. Just look over here on the left side. The market's absolutely exploding right now. We're sitting at over $31 billion currently, pushing close to $32 billion already. And here's the crazy part. This market's only going to keep climbing higher and higher. They're projecting it'll hit over $16 trillion in just the next 5 years. I think that number could shoot up even more once things really start picking up momentum in a major way. But what we're really zeroing in on here is obviously the XRP ledger and everything Ripple's been building. We know Ripple's already partnered with some absolute giants in the space. Recent names, we're talking about BlackRock, VanEck, all working through Securitize, which, get this, Securitize literally has backing from Morgan Stanley and BlackRock. So, boom, let me tell you what just went down. We got hit with this absolutely wild 1-2 punch from DBS Bank and Franklin Templeton, and these announcements dropped just a week apart from each other. I mean, come on. So if you're connecting the dots like I am, it's crystal clear what we're witnessing. Institutional DeFi is about to absolutely explode on the XRP ledger, and we're talking serious scale here. Now listen, there are 3 critical pillars holding this whole thing up: credit, compliance, and confidentiality. This actually brings me to an incredible video from David Schwartz that perfectly explains what I'm talking about. Let me show you this gem. Okay, so here's where things get really spicy. Let's dive into these key highlights because my mind is blown. XRP and the XRP ledger literally just stormed into the elite club of institutional DeFi. We're looking at over $1 billion in monthly stablecoin volume. Plus, they've cracked into the top 10 for real-world asset activity. That's not small potatoes, but it gets better. Credentials and deep freeze are officially live right now, which is absolutely supercharging compliance capabilities for all these institutional heavyweights. Oh, and here's the cherry on top. There's this native lending protocol coming down the pipeline that's gonna unleash low-cost, fully compliant credit markets baked right into the protocol itself. Plus, they're hard at work developing zero knowledge proofs to perfectly thread the needle between privacy, compliance, and scalability. Look, when you've got lending, compliance, programmability, and tokenization all coming together like this, the XRP ledger is straight up positioning itself as the go-to blockchain for institutional finance. And I really need you guys to grasp this because this is exactly why I keep hammering home the point that the XRP ledger is becoming absolutely essential to the institutional on-chain economy. I mean, just look at every single major announcement we've seen roll out this year alone. And here's something huge. When Ripple went out and acquired companies like Hidden Road, do you realize what that means? That's over 300 top-tier institutional players who are now directly plugged in to what Ripple's building, especially everything happening on the XRP ledger. Because think about it, where's everything heading? Everything's moving on-chain, my friends, and guess what's sitting right smack in the middle of Ripple's entire strategy? The XRP ledger and XRP itself, they're literally the beating heart of this whole operation. Even when we're talking about tokenizing real-world assets, just go check out Ripple's official website right now. Click over to their tokenization section, and what do you see front and center? The XRP ledger is literally spotlighted right there. This isn't by accident, people. This is the master plan unfolding right before our eyes. Look, I genuinely don't think people are connecting the dots here on what we're actually witnessing right now. This roadmap, this entire roadmap, just glancing at this thing for a second, hold on, let me zoom in so you guys can actually see this clearly. Right now, we're sitting in quarter 3, yeah? MPTS just landed. Like, they're here. Now the MPT-DEX integration, that's coming in Q4 of this year, stacked right on top of the lending protocol. Oh, that lending protocol is rolling out near the end of this current quarter we're in. Then boom, Q4 hits and we're getting the LiveNet Explorer plus the lending protocol objects. But wait, there's more. Q1 of 2026, we're talking confidential transfers, smart escrows, atomic swaps, sponsored fees, and reserves, all of it. Every single thing we've been watching develop this year with the XRP ledger features, it's all been a stepping stone toward institutional DeFi. This is straight up evolution of the Networks Foundation, you guys. This is proof right here that the XRP ledger isn't just chilling. It's actively being upgraded and evolved to make absolutely certain it can tackle these enormous high-level use cases. Listen, I'm going to be straight with you. When mass institutional grade adoption finally kicks in, and trust me, that's going to pull mass retail adoption right behind it. It's all centered around the XRP ledger. We're literally watching piece by piece get assembled right before our eyes to turn this vision into straight up reality on the XRP ledger. And can I just say, I am genuinely pumped about this whole thing. The MPT standard alone, absolute game changer, especially considering tokenization is about to go nuclear in the biggest possible way. It seriously feels like we're standing right at that critical inflection point for the whole market, and XRP in particular is right at the epicenter. I am legitimately excited about where this is all headed. You better believe I'm locked in, watching every move Ripple makes with these institutional DeFi roadmaps, because mark my words, this is shaping up to be one of the most monumental game changers for XRP as we push forward. So yeah, with everything laid out, I genuinely hope this video brought you some serious value today. If it did, go ahead and drop a like, smash that subscribe button, flip on those notifications, because I've got tons more free content headed your way. Really appreciate you watching, folks. Peace out.